My name is Sarah. Welcome to the It's a Sarah podcast. Today it is Monday, February 5, or do you say February 5th? No, February 5? I don't know. The 5th of February 2024, and this is episode 126. I'm coming to you from the Netherlands, so excuse my Dutchy English. I love to knit, I love to crochet, I love to sew, and I love to talk. So that's the perfect combination for making this podcast. I make my episodes in Dutch and English, so be sure you pick the right one. Okay, let's go. I have a lot to tell about, and let's start with what I'm wearing. Let's start with my warm woolly layer. I'm wearing my Sunday cardigan. It's a pattern by PetiteKnit, and it's one of my favorite cardigans. I knitted it in, was it last year or was it 2021? I don't know actually. But I really love wearing this cardigan. It's knitted in Elefos Lopi, so that's quite heavy. Is that a bulky weight yarn? The pattern is made for a bulky weight yarn, if I'm correct. But it's quite a warm woolly layer, and it's so cozy and nice. And when I knitted it, I did knit it this length. I think the pattern, that's how the pattern suggested. But later I had quite some yarn left, and later I thought, oh, I want an extra warm woolly layer, which is also over my my back bump. I don't like the word you use for that. So it's extra warm. It's my only long cardigan, and yeah, it's really warm and nice and cozy, so it's very good. I love the Elefos Lopi yarn. It's a bit pilling, but I don't mind these kinds of pills. Every now and then I de-pill it with my de-pill thing, but yeah, I love it. It's a bit, the layer from the Icelandic yarn is really what I like. So, and I always says this is also quite forgivable yarn, and I need forgivable yarn because I'm a bit of a messy knitter, and yeah, this is knitted back and forth, but you don't see any difference between the knits and the purls. I didn't add buttons to this cardigan because I wear it open fronted, and that's perfect. I never miss them, and yeah, it's okay. So yeah, absolutely one of my favorite knits. And then, let's put out my cardigan. Here is my new Hinterland dress, my second one. I am so proud. If you watch my episodes for a longer time, you know that knitting a Hinterland dress was quite high on my wish list, but also it was something that I was very insecure about, if I could do it and if I had the right skills, and yeah. I can knit, I don't knit it. I can sew a dress. I can do it. This is my second one. It's amazing. It's far from perfect, but it's perfectly imperfect. And there are little mistakes in it. And also the process didn't go, how do you say it? Without mistakes. Certainly not. But it was okay because I am learning and I am moving. It's so important for me that I keep moving. Quite a lot of the things that I want to make happen in my head, but when my head is thinking very hard about the things, my hands are doing nothing, and I know that the best way for me is just keep moving, and make mistakes doesn't matter as long as you keep moving. So I am moving still, and a friend told me, she said, oh, you beat your dragon. I know I have to say in English that I slayed my dragon, but I prefer beating my dragon just for the sound. Maybe it's not the correct word, but it's all about the sound, isn't it? So, and then I realized, oh, no, my dragon has 7 heads. So I did sew 2 dresses right now. So I have to make 5 more to really beat my dragon. And that was a fun thought. I can make 5 more. I sewed 7 dresses. I really don't need 7 dresses. I know. It sounds incredible, insane actually. But then when I have made 7 dresses, then my sewing skills are, yeah. There was a point when I was making this dress, I was working on this dress. I did the bodice. The pattern says the bodice, so I think that's the right word. I did the bodice wrong the first time because I don't follow the pattern exactly. The pattern tells you to put a little BA band around the neckline, and I learned from my knitting friend and my dress queen Jessica to do a facing at the inside. And she made a little instruction video, but it was different with a body placket for, and I didn't do that, so I had to rethink it, and my brain, there was a big error and I didn't know. So the first time I did it wrong, and now the second time I did it wrong again, and it was absolutely, I didn't fit in the body. So luckily I had enough fabric left, so I could cut again the fabric, and then I did it right. It worked out, and it was such an amazing feeling. Aha moment. Yes, I get it. And suddenly it did remind me of learning to crochet granny squares, because I had the same feeling, 15 years ago? I wanted to learn crocheting granny squares, and I didn't get it. My brain didn't understand how the construction of a granny square was. And suddenly there was that moment that I thought, is it that way? And from then I made a million granny squares, and it became a very hard jumping and relaxing thing to do for me, making crocheting granny squares. And suddenly I got this thought: can sewing Hinterland dresses give me the same feeling as crocheting a granny square? Suddenly I could believe it. We are not there yet, far from, but I could see it, that it would happen, that it will happen. So who knows? Let me tell you a little bit about the fabric, because the fabric is dramatic. It's not, that was a mistake. I really wanted a brown checkered, especially black checkered, dark brown and black fabric, but I couldn't find it. And then I found the brown and the blue. I am not a blue lover. I always say it, and it's a bit of a joke, of course. But I love the dark blue, and it was the best I could find. And it was also quite a cheap fabric. And I did buy a little bit more expensive fabric for my last Hinterland dress. That was linen, and through Etsy I bought it. And this one was in a web shop in the Netherlands, and it was quite cheap. And it was okay, because of course the quality of your materials, it's the same as with knitting and crochet. It makes it increases your success, your chance to success. So I definitely experienced that with this dress, but it was okay. I didn't have the budget to buy again expensive fabric, so this was what it was. And the fabric is 100% cotton, and it's very thin, it's very fragile, so sewing, and it is also very shine through, and especially for a dress. I don't think you can see it, but I do wear a skirt under it, because you can look right through my dress. And of course I'm wearing tights and there's nothing to see, but it's a bit silly. So I don't think I can wear it with, how do you say it? Bared legs? Is that the way you say it? With no tights? I don't, but it's okay. It was a practice. And also fixing mistakes was quite hard, because we use that little, I googled it, we call it torrenmesje, and you call it seam ripper. It sounds much more aggressive. We have a little bit of a sweet name for it. Oh, torrenmesje, and you say seam ripper. But that's the thing, you can rip your seams out, or when you made a mistake, or when you want to undo something. But I didn't want to do it too much with this fabric, because it's so fragile that it would attach the fabric too much. So there are some, how do you see? In Dutch we call them plooi, a fold. I don't know if fold is the good word. A plooi, this part, we call them plooien, but I don't know the English word for it. But there are some folds some here's a fault. It doesn't belong there. but I didn't want to rip the seam because yeah, I was afraid I would make holes in the fabric. And the great thing is I never see the seam under my left breast because I don't have big breasts, but I can't see it. So why would I bother it? So it was okay. There was a little thing I couldn't ignore. I was making the dress and I thought, oh, maybe I can finish it and I can wear it to my knitting day. That was last Saturday. I will tell you more about it in a minute. And then I got a bit in a hurry. So I sewed the skirt. I did sew the skirt to the body, and then I went for dinner, and then I came back to finish it, and I had sewed it inside out to the body. So the seams were at the outside, and it was not a nice mistake. It was not looking good. So because I couldn't rip the seam, I had to cut the fabric, and now the dress is a little bit shorter than I intended, but it's okay. I can still wear it, and yeah, I need the skirt under it. It's actually one of my favorite skirts, and I tuck it up quite an end at the top, so it won't sneak out under it. But yeah, and I must say I'm surprised because I'm wearing this dress for the 3rd day in a row right now, and it's still one piece. There are no holes, no damaged fabric, so maybe it is stronger than I thought. And also I was a bit afraid that the cotton would be too crinkly or not, but it's very flowy and drapey. Although it is 100% cotton, it's very nice. I am very happy with the short sleeved version. I have 2 Hinterland dresses with no sleeves. The first one I made myself was with 3/4 sleeves. That's absolutely nothing for me. I also own a gifted store-bought dress with long sleeves. But I really love this length because I can wear it with a long sleeve under it when it's cold. And with bare arms, it sounds so weird. With no long sleeve when it's warmer. And I have also quite some knits for spring and summer with short sleeves. I can wear it over the dress without seeing it. And yeah, I'm really happy with the short sleeves. So it was really one big success. And my sewing skills are they are growing. My sewing muscles, they are growing. So it gives me such an amazing feeling because I felt so insecure, but I'm wearing a dress again. I made it my own and I feel very good in it. So that's really really a big thing for me. So I will make another one, but not soon. Before I will order fabric for another one, I will fix my first Hinterland dress. I will make the 3/4 sleeves into short sleeves. And then I have a store-bought I dyed myself. There were some stains on it and it was not looking nice. So I dyed the dress, and it's a double go summer dress. Very lovely. Made by 2 lovely ladies, Dutch ladies. They called Kleine Schobbejak, their company is called. They make a lot of Waldorf inspired clothes. And I have this dress for quite some years, but now it's dark brown. It's perfect. Only the sewing thread it wasn't cotton, so it was a little bit of polyamide, I guess, so it didn't catch the dye. So the fabric is a beautiful dark brown, but the seams are dark green, or yeah, it's not looking nice. So now I'm thinking I have a thought to over sew it, but that's also not looking nice, so I really have to rip out. So I will try that. I will check if that's worth the work, because I would love to have the brown summer dress. So I will do those 2 things first, and then I am allowed to order fabric for a 3rd one. So I'm very happy. Okay, I have another finished object, and that's my pillow. Last week I was making my blanket episode, and I showed you my Coziest memory blanket, and I also shared my thoughts about making it into a pillow, and I did. it was laying in my knitting office for some days and there was nothing happening. And then at some, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, I thought, just begin, just do it. So I had to frock a few squares because otherwise the fabric would be too large. I was actually thinking I had to add some squares, but it was too big. So I did rip them out. That went quite easily. And then I stuffed my pillow very good with very leftovers. I told about it last week. So it's a very heavy pillow. I don't know how heavy it is, but it's very heavy. And I think you can do a workout with it because this is really hard for my arms. So I don't love to do workouts, but this is really a good knitting workout. A workout for knitters. Put up and down your network. Then it's not so boring because you can look at all your beautiful squares. Oh, my arms are feeling heavy already. And I did a rough seam. It was absolutely something I wanted to do without my Miss Perfect. I was thinking about doing an I-cord bind off or a crochet, seam it together with a crochet row, or do a very fine and nicely mattress stitch. But it was all happening in my head and my hands were doing nothing. And when that's happening, I know Miss Perfect is just around the corner. And then I realized I just want this to be finished. So I grabbed the first yarn that was around me, the same yarn I made my fingerless mittens with a few weeks ago, and I just seamed it together very messy and roughly. I can show it to you. And it's perfect. I don't need it. I didn't need a perfect bind off to make this into a hard jumping pillow. That was a nice experience. It's perfect. It's a heavy pillow and it's laying at the couch at my knitting spot, and it's very nice to have in my my bag, my under bag. Do you say it? So I sit straight when I'm knitting. And it's feeling very nice and it holds up pretty good. The corners are a bit loosely. I was a bit afraid that it would flubber all around because of the garter stitch, but yeah, it's working out pretty good and I really love the look of it. So it's very nice. And I realized I didn't change my Ravelry page, but this blanket, it's the Coziest Memory blanket by Kemper Wray. It's a work in progress forever on my Ravelry project page, and now I can finish it. So that's really nice. Yeah. Okay. When blankets turn into pillows. It's not the first time that happens in my crocheting and knitting life. Then I have another knitting hanging right there. I won't tell you about that a lot. I won't go into detail, but I just hang it there because it's looking so nice and cozy, and I want you to show you my progress a bit. This is the Otra cardigan by Ellie from Skeindeer. I told about it a few weeks ago because I actually planned the color combination, the brown as the main color and the white as a contrast color, but when I was making my swatch I really felt that I want the black as a contrast color, and it's felt also a bit as an unlogical choice, but it really, my heart screams, it must be black, it must be black. So I ordered black and I knit it and I'm very happy I did. It's completely different color work, and I can imagine you can hardly see the color work from there, from that distance, but you can see it when you're close, and I will show you next time when I'm, I will show you next time. But yesterday I did a quick fit because I am at the point where I have to split for the sleeves right now. And the look of it, it was really, I felt, okay, this was what I wanted. Yeah, this is what I wanted. So I was very happy that I followed that feeling. It must be black, it must be black. Yeah, and yeah, it's very nice. I do some modifications. I make another color, and I want to make a zipper into it. I never did a zipper in a cardigan for myself. Last time for my husband, but I really also want a cardigan with a zipper. So I'm very excited about doing that because yeah, I really love to have that in my wardrobe. It's knitting very nice. It's actually my in-between work. I knit a row every now and then, and I was quite surprised how much you can do every now and then, because I finished the whole yoke, and it will be an all-over colorwork cardigan, so I will just knit further with the colorwork. But yeah, it was not my main project. It was more, yeah, in between. So there I had a lot of knitting time in between. Yeah, very nice and very lovely, and yeah, easy colorwork pattern. I think when you want a first experience with colorwork, this is definitely a good pattern for it, because it's so easy, and it's also in worsted weight yarn, so it goes quite quickly. Yeah, I love it. Okay, but my main focus was on my sweater, or actually not my sweater. It is living in this project bag, and I showed it before, but I want to mention it again, because this is my absolutely favorite project bag at the moment. It is made by a Dutch project bag maker. Her name is Rachel, and she has an Instagram account, and also her company is called Rachelebel. I will link it down below. I have no idea if she also ships out of the Netherlands, but she makes the most beautiful project bags, and she gifted this one to me, and it is really heart jumping. It was heart jumping that I received it from her. That was very lovely, but also the fabric. I would love to have an Hinterland dress in this fabric. That would be amazing. I really love this fabric, but also the size. It's a big project bag. It's for a sweater quantity, and I can put all the things in. It's really nice, so I'm happy with it. And I'm even more happy with what's living in it, because, oh, here we are. It's a bit tight. But this was a weird movement. I'm sorry. I just want to show that the cables were so squeezed in. Do you say it like that? So it's a bit of a I don't know. Oh no. Oh, I feel a bit ashamed now. I'm sorry, but it's a bit busy because it's also on a tight cable. But this is my Arctic Light sweater, a pattern from Kutovakika, and I'm knitting it for my youngest girl, my 14-year-old daughter, and this is really a dream knit. I must say, I really had my doubts when she said that she wanted this sweater. Of course, we were looking together on Ravelry for all the patterns, and she said, oh, I really want to have that. And I had my doubts about the fitting, because this part, I don't know, I was seeing something, I don't know, the raglan and the quite wide shoulders. I didn't really like it, but she really wanted this sweater. So in the end, I just knitted it, and I knitted with Filcolana Peruvian Highland wool. This was the first time I am knitting with it, and I really love to knit it. It's very soft and very nice. I can imagine that maybe this would be a pilling yarn, but it's also very nice to wear next to your skin when you are not too sensitive. I mean, this is more itchy. It's also soft, but I really love it. And the cable pattern, it was like Chinese for me in the beginning, but at the end I could knit it without looking and without a chart, and just knit it as the stitches come. And I only had to count every 4th row I have to cable, and then it's okay. I did make mistakes in this part. This little cable with a bubble stitch in the middle. I can fix cables mistakes afterwards quite easily. I want to put in Dutch words in my sentence, but that would be weird. It was quite impressive when I did it the first time. Just drop, when you have an 8-stitch cable, drop all the 8 stitches for quite some rows, and then fix the cable. And it works out pretty good. It's only when you are doing it, it can be quite overwhelming. Oh, what is happening here? It's a cable accident, but it's not as hard as it looks. Just focus on every single stitch and it will come, it will be good. So, but the bubble stitch, you can't fix it afterwards because you make a bubble every, I don't know how much, but every row. No, not every row. Also not every other row. Also every 6th row or 8th row. I don't know. But the bubble stitch you can't fix afterwards. I tried. I knew it wouldn't work, but I still tried. It doesn't work. So I did make a mistake with this one, I guess. I spent my whole evening with knitting backwards because I thought I knitted a row too much. And then when I all fixed it, I discovered that I didn't knit a row too much. So this one is a little bit too small. And I also made one, I think this one row too big. But yeah, it were so little mistakes. They were not really obvious. Yeah, I didn't want to knit back. It's also not a crochet of a knitting work that you can just put your needles out and rip out a lot of stitches. I don't work with lifelines, and yeah. You can hardly see the mistakes. It was okay. I did put on the sweater because especially this little one was sitting right at a spot which was very remarkable, very obvious. So I put on the sweater to check if it was annoying or not. And then when I put on the sweater, it was a heart jumping moment because suddenly I thought, I need this sweater in my life. I don't want to give it to my daughter. I want it. It felt like a warm woolly hug, and I love the color. I don't often knit in light colors for myself, but I love the color, I love the fit. It was perfect. So I asked her, but she said no. I want it. So I don't know if I really want to knit a second version. I don't know. But I am quite sure I can borrow it once or twice. Yeah. And she doesn't know. No, and I want an all over cable sweater once in my life. But I don't know if I would want to use this pattern. There are a lot of beautiful patterns. But we are at the point right now. I almost ran out of yarn. I followed the pattern quite precisely. It was a surprise that I already had enough centimeters. I was knitting and I thought, oh, let's measure. And then I thought, oh, I am there already. And see, it's a cropped sweater and she wanted cropped. The only problem is the sleeves are too short for her. So she wants some extra length to the sleeves. 8 centimeters per sleeve to be precisely. And I won't make it with this, I'm quite sure. And I have a bit of inner struggle, because I promised myself if I ran out of yarn and I have to order new yarn, I have to order it in a yarn shop which is at the other side of the country, the Netherlands. We have a very small country, but it is 3 hours drive and I won't do that. So I have to order it online. And I thought, okay, when I have to do it, I will also order this yarn in black, because I really want a black cardigan in my life. I don't have a black cardigan and I want a black cardigan in this yarn. So that's a nice thing. So a part of me is hoping that this will not be enough yarn. But there's also another part. I don't want to buy yarn, because that was one of my things for this year. I want to use what I have. I don't want to buy enough yarn, and it's also quite a challenge to come out with this. So that's the reason why I didn't bind off, because the border is quite long, and I can imagine when I only need a tiny bit, I can rip out a few rows of the border at the bottom of the body. So what I will do, I will rip out this ribbing, and I will save the yarn ball, and then I will divide this leftover in twice with my scale. Do you say it? I will weigh it. Do you say it like that? And then I will knit, and I'm quite sure I won't get 8 centimeters of this pattern out of it, but we will see. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, and then I will see. So it's quite exciting what will happen. When I have enough yarn, it will be finished in a few days. And when I do not have enough yarn, I will have to order, and we have a little bit more patience. We need a little bit more patience. So I think it will be ready when spring is coming. Yeah, but it's a timeless sweater and a timeless color. So very lovely. I'm not quite sure if I can recommend a pattern for sure, because that's really clear and nice, and it was absolutely a hard jumping knit. I'm not sure if I can recommend the fit, because I had my doubts about it, and my doubts are decreasing. They are getting smaller, because I think the fit is fine. But yeah, you only know for sure when you block the sweater and when you wear it a few times, then you know. And I'm not there yet, but it was really a fun knit. Another little project and something I bought last Saturday at the knitting day, which I want to show. But let me first tell you a little bit about the knitting day. I had 2 knitting Saturdays. In the Netherlands, every now and then someone is organizing a knitting day, and you can apply. Do you say it? You can apply for the day, and they serve some lunch, and you can connect with knitters and crocheters. It is crafting day, in een handwerkdag, handwork day. So I had one last Saturday and the Saturday before. And last Saturday I went to a place I never have been before, and I had no idea if there were other people coming who I knew. So it was a little bit exciting, but knitters and crocheters, they are always nice. I never met an ugly crocheter or an ugly knitter, a grumpy knitter or a grumpy crocheter. They're all lovely people, so it was very nice and lovely. And we have a good chat, and there was nice food, and I saw all the beautiful knitting works. There was one lady with a beautiful cardigan, a colorwork cardigan. And she said, no, I didn't knit it myself. I found it in the thrift store. And everybody thought, whoa, in the thrift store? That's lucky you. And she said, I'm so curious who made it, who knitted it, and why it is in the thrift store. And then somebody told, we also were very curious to the pattern. It was with flowers. And then somebody said, you can make a picture with the Google app. And then the picture will search for a pattern which recommends with the picture. So I never did that before, so I did it, and bloink, there was the pattern. It was a drops pattern, and it was amazing, because now I can knit that cardigan too. I'm not really a fan of the drops patterns, but I am a fan of that cardigan. So I will, and I have enough patterns which I can use for the numbers, I guess. It's all about the chart, so it was really lovely. So it's absolutely on my list, because it looked so nice, but also sometimes you see a pattern at a special moment when you are seeing lovely people, and then the good feeling of the day is catched up in the pattern. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes it can be catched up in the yarn, but sometimes in a pattern. So yeah, it's on my long list. But I also bought something. There was a lovely lady, her name is Linda, from Wolhobby, and she is selling hand-dyed yarns, but also some other things. And I didn't want to buy yarn. Of course I did want to, because she had some lovely brown skeins, but I didn't do it. But I did bought this thing, and I don't know the name of this thing, but you can wind up your skeins with this. When I wind up my skeins, I have my yarn. Is this a yarn winder? We call it yarn umbrella in Dutch. No, not in Dutch, but in Dutch we say wol paraplu. Paraplu is the Dutch word for umbrella. And then I attach it to my yarn winder, and that's an ugly plastic thing, white with pink, but it does work, and it's very nice. And then you got this yarn cake. And this one is to make a yarn cake with the yarn thread from the inside out and without a tool. Only this is the tool. And I didn't need this thing in my life. Although I like it very much, but I bought it because of the story around it, because Linda sells these kinds of things, and you can decide yourself how much money you want to pay for it. So everything's all right. Her husband made these little things, and you can decide yourself if you want to give a little bit of money or a little bit more money. It's all good. It's all good. And she collects all that money and she saves it in a special. She has a special. I don't know how you say it in English. She saves the money, and she uses it to share with other people who don't have the money, for example, to buy a pattern. Linda designs patterns, she organizes Advent knit-alongs, and she does a lot of things. She's very active, and she wants, her mission is to, how do you say it in English, to let as much people as possible enjoy knitting and crochet, enjoy the good feeling of crafting. And she also wants to give people with a very low budget, with no budget for knitting patterns, the opportunity to receive a pattern. And she uses the money she earns with those little things for that. And I found that such a sweet and nice and lovely thing she does, and she's very she does a lot of nice things for other people, and I think that's very inspiring. You can find her at Instagram and also at YouTube. She also makes episodes in Dutch and in English, so I will link her down below. Her name is Linda from Wolhobby. And yeah, she organized a lot of lovely things. So be sure you, if you are interested in a lovely lady, in a lovely knitting lady, then check out her YouTube channel. Yeah. So that was very nice, and I had a yarn cake from this sock yarn. This is also an in between work, and when they are finished, I will tell you more about it. But my yarn cake got a bit messy because I was working from the inside out, and then I tried to make it on this one. It was quite hard to get the feeling, because you have to turn this towards you and the yarn the other side, and my brain got an error when I have to do two things at the same time which are opposite. But it is on the I can put it out now. So I hope I have a lovely skein. Hoopla. It's very nice. The only thing is that I have to work from the outside right now because my sock was already attached to it. But it's really lovely. It's really lovely. It feels so steady. Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. So it's not really a tool I needed, but I thought the story behind was so lovely, and it was very relaxing. A bit of a struggle in the beginning, but when I got it, it was very relaxing to do. So very nice. Well, okay, that was it for today. I hope you love to listen to all my crafty adventures, to all my handwerk perikelen. I am looking forward to the coming days. I have some knitting time, some other things, and next week on Monday we have holidays here in the Netherlands where I live. I live in the south of the Netherlands. We celebrate Carnival, and all the people put on silly clothes and are celebrating, and it's a big thing for a lot of people. But the celebrating the Carnival sparkle is not really in my DNA. I don't know, I did celebrate Carnival a lot, and it's really a big party, and it's really nice and cozy and fun, but it's also quite heavy when you really celebrate. And I don't know. I'm not feeling the carnival sparkle right now, so I don't think I will go. My kids will, and maybe we will visit an event once. I'm not sure, but it's also a holiday here, so I'm not sure how my episode next week will be. Maybe a little short, maybe a little bit different. I'm not sure yet, but you will see it. And when I will not make, I do want to make an episode. I love it too much. But maybe it will be a shorty. So that's you will see it. I hope you have a very nice week with a lot of heart jumping moments. I hope you find some peaceful and happy feelings in your knitting and crochet, and which makes you happy. And I will try that for myself too. But I'm looking forward to all the things already. So that's really nice. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.
I would be up waiting for you if you had to leave. I would wait a lifetime if you were at sea. I just wanna say that I feel that our love is real. Maybe we should hurry up and seal the deal. Take you there. I would give it all away to do it all again. Make our love a story that would never end.